The five principles of time management. Over the past 20 years, I've immersed myself in the concept of maximizing my time to accomplish my goals. What I discovered early on is that you must respect the nature of time. High achievers universally embrace this as foundation of their success, including me. As much as any other variable, your relationship to time can profoundly affect how far you go in life. I've tried all sorts of the time management strategies. I've added and subtracted parts of various philosophies that make sense to me, and eventually I developed my own system that I refer to as five principles of time management. If you can adapt and master these principles in your own life, you will enjoy more success, make more money, be more productive, add layers of bliss, and build the life you are meant to enjoy. Let's take a look at those five principles. Add more days to your day. One more thinkers should set aside the notion of 24-hour day. The 24-hour day worked well before I had the internet, smartphones, wireless technology, computerized cars, jets, satellites, and other tools that let us expand our footprint and move at the speed of light. We can now send the email anywhere in the world in an instant. We can hold a teleconference with dozens of hundreds of people 24/7 instead of going to the library and digging through the encyclopedia. We can Google anything and get answers in a matter of seconds. The ability to accomplish tasks has multiplied exponentially. Access to information, people, and locations takes the place with lightning speed immediacy. That's why, if you want to be a high achiever, the 24-hour day is antiquated concept in my world, and for all Walmart thinkers, it no longer applies. We are now available. Accomplish more in 5 minutes, 1 hour, or one day than we could an entire week or a month and 100 years ago. Our ability to compress the time is in our ability to bend and manipulate time for our best purposes. Guess what? That does for your goals. It puts them in your face like never before. And when you're close to your goal, you naturally approach it with a greater agency. Here's a mindset you can put into practice today. It's effective. I've been doing it for more than 20 years now, so I know it works. From time to time, you will have one of those days where everything is falling in line. You are able to knock out a ton of stuff and be more productive in 4 or 5 hours than you are in one of your normal full days. Or maybe you've had a day where you knocked out more than you have in your entire month. If you could replicate the rush every day, here's how. Instead of accomplishing your days in a single block of time, divide your waking hour into three equal parts or mini days. For me, that means my first day runs from 6 a.m. to noon, my second day is from noon to 6 p.m., and my third day is from 6 p.m. until midnight. While you are living 7 days in a week, I'm living 21 days in a week. Okay, I don't waste time because my sense of urgency is operating at a higher level. Instead, I'm focusing even more on what I need to accomplish today. I compress my work, relationships, and productivity, fitness, and fun into shorter and more intense pieces of time. With this strategy, I shrink the finishing line so that more of what I do becomes a sprint. Don't lose sight of the fact that your life is still in balance. You still make time for all parts of your life. All that you are doing is squeezing useless air out of the wasted part of your day. At first, you may be intimidated by the attempting to do this, but as you give it a try, you will replace all the bad habits with effective new ones. You will move faster and have a greater control of your time. Here's the cool part. If you implemented this mindset, imagine the compounding effect in working 21 days a week for a month, a year, or a decade, or for the rest of your life. Now compare that to people you compete against who look at their days as in a single 24-hour block of time. In my mind, I'm living more than 1,000 days in the same time frame as others who think of themselves as living in a 365-day year. Who has advantage? You already know the answer. I am living example of what this strategy can do for you. My results have been pretty good so far. Approach time with a greater sense of urgency. The German philosopher, author Schopenhauer, okay, Schopenhauer once said, "The common man is not concerned about passing of time. No man of talent is driven by it. Do you want to be common or do you want to be a person of talent?" Urgency is the key. From my experience, there is a direct correlation between how fast you will run versus how close you are to the finish line. If you watch distance runners in a race, why does the last level lack of a race invariably produce some of the race's fastest times? In a 26-mile marathon, you keep a steady pace. As you get closer to the finish line, your adrenaline kicks in, and you find another gear. You push yourself because you're close to completing the task and crossing that finish line. I read this for. No, it's not. So, measuring performance work. Oh, measure your performance often. Okay, I should do that as well. This is the most important thing for me to improve my skill. Measure your performance often. Where your performance is measured, performance improves. Close proximity to measurement is critical. Even leading motivational and organization experts from Zig Ziglar to Peter Drucker build decided into their foundation strategies and for a simple reason. Measuring performance works as you shrink your time frame and increase your urgency. You also need to shrink the intervals of how often you measure your performance. If you don't take the time to measure, you will have a more difficult time course correcting. That leads to inefficiency and wasted time. Just to make sure you're measuring the right things. Be clear on your goals, priorities, and standards. Understand how they work in concert with each other. Learn to identify not only weaknesses but the potential source of those weaknesses. Legendary UCLA basketball coach John Wooden put it into perspective saying, if you don't have the time to do it right, when will you have the time to do it again? Wooden wasn't a stickler for doing things the right way, right down to how he's placing a tight their shoes. He fine-tuned every technique and process in his teams for years, accepting only one standard and measuring their entry stops almost daily. In your goal is running a 5 minute mile or turn up internet sales by 5%. or your income by $50,000. How do you know if you're reaching these goals? Unless you look at the numbers, anything less. And you're just throwing darts and hoping you will hit your targets. Average people access themselves once or twice a year, but only making New Year's resolution is appropriate for one more thinkers. Top performers measure themselves on a monthly or weekly. Do you take stock of your week's accomplishments on a Friday evening? Do you take stock and set your plans for the coming week on a Sunday evening? The top performers, the one more thinkers, go through this process daily. Oh, okay. There's even one more level beyond daily measurements. Some people measure themselves hourly. The most elite have an internal mechanism that is triggered with urgency. I have trained myself to do this, and I'm not lying. And I tell you, as hard as it sounds, this discipline has served me well because I always try to check myself. Yeah, I try to measure myself, like speed of speaking, tone of voice, what kind of words that I use. Yeah, this is like internal mechanism. Of course, it is the same thing, right? Emily? Okay, that really sounds good for me. Okay, to support me. Okay, actually. Okay, think for a moment. Who's going to do better? The person who shrinks their measurement interval or a person who rarely measures where they're at? You already know this answer too. Focus on the future. Too many people are stuck in the past. That kills their ability to be productive in the present and robs them of making plans for the future. The past is gone forever, but until you let go of it, the past is death and steals your ability to dream and imagine. You need to spend time thinking about your future because that's where you are heading. You must also stay connected to the present because that's how you build a better future. It drives me nuts when I see so many people stuck in a loop about how their lives will be different today. If only. That one, that one big thing has been different. People getting out of bad relationships are trying to distance themselves from poor family dynamics are particularly vulnerable to past thinking. This is to say, you shouldn't address the trauma of your past. You must find a way to process it and move forward. If you can't, the only person you're hurting is you and the people you care about right now. Yeah, that's Hmm. Conversely, don't fall into the trap of falling in love with your past. If you had the greater things happen, whether you earned an advanced college degree, got a big job promotion, got married, and so on, those things are nice. But if you rest on these laurels too much, you're still not living in the present and building a better future. As Coco Chanel once said, don't spend time beating on a wall, hoping to transform it into a door. One more thinkers have the innate ability to spend time dreaming and imagining about their future while taking decisive actions in the present to shape what lies ahead. Changing others in perception of you, changing others Okay, change others' perception of you. When you incorporate 5 principles of time management into your life, how others see you is going to change too. When people see you are no longer wasting time, they begin to not waste your time. They see you're also no longer spending too much time taking care of other people's priorities because you are too focused on taking care of your own. At work, you need to be reasonable about this. Find a way to make your employers goals your goals and blend the two to create harmony. Your friends, family, and coworkers will understand that you're in an attack mode in your life instead of the react mode. They will respect you, and your relationships with them will be redefined. It's an added benefit that alters your life because your refund time management is actually newfound life management. Also, as you change your approach to time, you'll be open to meeting new like-minded people and embark on new projects and adventure you may have thought were just in a pipe dream. Let me leave you with this one final thought about time, about Charles Darwin. A man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of time. Stop wasting time and start bending time your advantage to get on with the important things in your life. Okay, Sigmund Freud. Oh, one of my favorite psychologists is Sigmund Freud. Okay, one more emotion. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. Unexpressed emotions. We should express all the emotions. What you feel? No, I don't think so. I don't need that. Hmm. Love and hate, joy and sorrow, peace and anger, bliss and rage. What? Why? Okay, why are emotions so important to understand? How do we use them to gain some measure of control in our lives? Because our lives are directly linked to the quality of our emotions. Show me somebody who experiences inner bliss, joy, love, peace, and a passion on a regular basis. Yeah, and I will show you someone living an incredible life. Show me somebody who's dominated. Okay, I don't want to read this one. It's not the caliber of these people's homes, cars, and other material possessions that determines the quality of their lives. It's the quality of their emotions. You have an emotional home that you live in. How you feel this with home, with the emotions you choose is reality of your life. More than anything else, all of us experience 5 or 6 inconsistent emotions in this home every day. And no matter what your life conditions are, you will find a way to get those emotions. Every one of us is conditioned to return to our emotional homes, even if those emotions don't serve us well. Oh, have you ever noticed that no matter what's going on in your life, you always seem to find these in the same half a dozen emotions? Okay. For example, you may seek out worry, insecurity, fear, and anxiety, not necessarily because you want to. You do it because these emotions are familiar to you. Your mind always in a seeker. What is familiar? Because there is a level of comfort, even when the familiar works against you. The synapses in your brain are wired to seek and define those emotions. You live in that emotional home, and the truth is, if you're going to change your life, you're going to have to clean house and change that emotional home. Decisions say that all emotions don't have their place in the world. What you perceive as an ongoing quest for positive emotions and avoiding negative emotions is a fallacy of sorts. All emotions serve us. All emotions serve us one way or another. Okay, all emotion. All emotion. Okay. Some anxiety is just as important as bliss or joy. Anxiety is a warning system our brain uses to protect us. What we perceive as negative emotions serve important purposes in many cases too. Think of emotions as neither negative or positive. Emotions just are. Okay, emotions just are. Both sides of emotional quotient must be intentionally managed. Too much of any emotion, perceived as either good or bad, doesn't serve you well. Your goal should be to feel specific emotions in your emotional home, regardless of the external factors in your life, such as having a certain kind of job, living in a certain kind of house, or driving a certain kind of car. The amazing thing is that when you have your emotional house in order, you're more likely to get that job, house, and a car. So many people think that if they get those things, they will feel the positive emotions associated with reaching those goals. One more thing is flip-flop that in sequence. Yeah, so I always just try to feel as if it is already accomplished, right? So one more thing is to get intentional daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly within putting their emotional homes in orders and deciding which emotions they most want to experience. As a one more thinker, ask yourself, what are the 5 or 6 emotions that I most want to experience? Okay, I have 2 things. Oh, I have 3 things. Okay. When you do this, the rectangular activating system in your brain will go to work and find inner circumstances that will create those emotions for you. Once activated, harmful emotions will be decommissioned and replaced with positive emotions that will fully activate the best in a version of you. Understand the DNA of emotions. The more you understand the genesis and the relationship between all of your emotions, the easier it is to move away from destructive emotions and replace them with the positive emotions. Emotions are a primary driver of your personality. Of course, emotions are a primary driver of my personality. They heavily influence hundreds of decisions I make every day. Emotions are complex, sometimes unpredictable. Yeah, and they can bubble up in a ways and at times that you never expected. Plato said human behavior flows from 3 main sources. Desire. Okay. Behavior. My behavior is like desire, emotion, and knowledge. Desire, emotion, and knowledge. My behavior. Desire and knowledge are what we acquire and respond to stimuli we receive as we live our life. Emotions are different. We are born as emotional creatures. Our emotions are constantly evolving, and the complexity of our emotional quotient is unique to each of us. They guide our actions and create a part of individual DNA of who we are. Scientists know emotions are coded into our DNA as a low-level response to outside stimuli. They are believed to have developed as a way for us to respond two different environment threats, and most notably the fight or flight response. Yeah, emotions that emanate from the subcortical areas of the brain, including the amygdala and ventromedial prefrontal cortices. When triggered, emotions produce biochemical reactions that have a direct impact on a person's physical state. The amygdala also play a role in the releasing neurotransmitters, which are essential in creating memories. Oh, okay. Without going too deep, this is why emotional memories are more robust and easier to recall. All emotions have purpose, like positive emotions and negative emotions are valuable source of cognitive information to help you understand what's going on around you. They help you identify threats and to be guard against possible dangers. Negative emotions are the essential counterbalance to help you see both sides of a situation. While fear and anxiety are seen as negative emotions, they can be what spurs you to take action and change your life when you recognize their presence. If harnessed properly, negative emotions are motivators that help us address and correct behaviors. Guilt is tied to our moral compass, and when we feel this emotion internally, we'll punish ourselves because we believe we've done something wrong. Guilt keeps us in check from doing bad things like committing crimes, cheating on our spouse and our taxes, or drinking and driving. Similarly, jealousy is sometimes referred to as benign envy. This benign envy can motivate someone to believe that if another person can accomplish a goal, such as getting a good grade or hitting a high sales dollar amount, that is a tangible enrich for them as well. You can reframe jealousy as a good thing when you are aware to view it as an achievable goal for you too. The key is to keep these and other negative emotions in check. When you get caught up in an endless cycle of negative emotions, is when we get into trouble. Dwelling in negative emotions can impair our ability to think straight, especially when those emotions are incredibly intense. You are your emotions. And if you don't get intentional about how you interact with your emotions and then move toward the emotions you want, you will live in the same life you always have. Once you learn to identify your emotions and they begin to loosen their grip on you, your awareness means you're gaining control. As a one-more thinker, you can begin replacing the dominant harmful emotions with the helpful emotions when you're gaining control. New and positive emotions will energize you. Oh, definitely. Okay. They'll help you chart new goals and directions you will find it easier to get. Big ticket items done in your life and when you live in confidence and happiness instead of doubt and despair. Imagine what would happen if you could rebuild your emotional framework one more emotion at a time to put you in a position to become a millionaire, but your dream house, or find your soulmate. Flipping your emotions from can't do mindset to a can do. Mindset is an essential step to making all these things happen. Why you hoard your emotions? Changing your emotional mindset is a challenge. I'm not going to lie. There are mental barriers to overcome when you're being conditioned to think in a certain way, a way that brings you comfort and a constant great lengths to avoid pain. Often the actions you take in your life and because you think that will give you a particular emotional response. You buy flowers for your wife or girlfriend because you want to show your love for her and feel the love in return. You take a long walk in a beach or in a hike alone in a park as a way to clear your mind and find peace. You work your butt off to reach your end work goal because you know you will enjoy the recognition you receive and the pride you feel. Emotions are stronger and more permanent than feelings. Oh, okay. Hmm. Hmm. Feelings are emotional reactions. Oh, okay. Emotions and feelings. Okay, mental status. Emotions. They are more transitory and shallow in nature. Emotional response in a run deeper can be measured by physical cues. A mother's heart doesn't race when her child comes home from a long deployment in the military to surprise her. If you get in a fight with your spouse and at some point they will stop talking to you, but their body language will tell you all you need to know. Studies have even shown that unhealthy anger in its repressed state has been linked to cancer. Oh my gosh. When unaccompanied with positive emotions, negative emotions can create an endless stream of ruminations. This repeated negative thinking increases in our brain stress levels, flooding our bodies with a stress hormone cortisol that can lead to depression, overeating, drug and alcohol abuse, and high blood pressure and cardiovascular disease. Although you want to avoid and experience only positive emotions, the fact is that all emotions are entirely normal to experience. That means anger, fear, disgust, sadness, contempt, shame, guilt, and other emotions we perceive as negative are just as normal as surprise, happiness, satisfaction, joy, and relief, to name a few. When you try to repress or perceive the negative emotions in favor of only seeking and allowing positive emotion to exist in your mind, you keep a duplicate balance that causes problems instead. Hoarding emotions those you're able to distinguish between reality and what you perceive to be reality. In turn, it creates an emotional clutter that can impact every part of your life. You've met people in your life who are up the scale, delirically happy, and you've met people who are permanent downer mode. Both can be hard to be around. That's because both are shielding themselves from genuine emotions and by hiding in midst of this emotional clutter. The act of emotional decluttering. Sorting through emotions in a way that helps you in an intentional process. Keep in mind that your actions may bring you certain material things and outcomes, but just as often you want an emotion attached to those emotions. People are intentional about their actions and but rarely do we spend enough time in thinking about the emotions attached to those actions. For this to happen, we must take a closer look at what we want, and we must be truthful when we do so. Rich Dad and Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki puts it this way: emotions are what make us human, make us real. The word emotion stands for energy emotion. Be truthful about your emotions and use your mind and emotions in your favor and not against yourself. People are composed of a small handful of emotions they live with every day. These emotions create our emotional homes, like any homes. Your emotional home may not be perfect, but it is comfortable. Regardless of our physical environment, some of us do have a lot of positive emotions. In our emotional home, we routinely experience bliss, satisfaction, pride, and more. But others live in ugly homes dominated by resentment, anger, distress, depression, and stress. These unwelcome visitors run amok and out of control, and they damage us, much like an old house guest who stay too long. We become desensitized to their wholeness. They become our way of life, making things worse because we are programmed to go after things without paying attention to our emotions. When we fail, those bad feelings grow and grow. Oh, okay. The act of emotional decluttering means toasting out these unwelcome guests so that you can invite other more positive guests in for an extended permanent stay. Getting honest and intentional. Okay. One more thing is you must choose to change your harmful emotions. When you do, your emotional home will change. In fact, it's much like moving to an entirely new address. It's not enough to take action to get the thing you want. We've all heard stories of people who have made their fortunes, but who also learned trouble in their miserable lives. They live with fear, greed, and distress, even though they might also live in a $10 million mansion and they have $100 million in the bank. They will fall into the trap of believing they would be happy by default if they became wealthy. But the problem is that they didn't consciously choose to be happy, to practicing gratitude, to be kind and generous. Gratitude to be kind and generous. They were not intentional, and now, even if they awarded a pitch in one way, unless they've gotten past the overwhelming negative emotions, they're slowly dying on the side. Ask yourself, if you could choose to have $100 million in the bank, but you had no peace in your life, would you make the sacrifice? What if the price of your joy and the happiness? Now, if you could choose to have $1 million in the bank instead, but be completely constant, surrounded by people you love and who love you back, and you look forward to living every day, would you choose that instead? It's just that in changing out emotions in its intentional act and an exercise in honesty. As best-selling author Dish Benedict puts in, when you walk a life of honesty, you live a life of truth. If you can be truthful with yourself, while writing to others and have to expect that you will be honest with them. Being honest and intentional are two of the best gifts you can give yourself. Honesty is a springboard from which every emotion emanates. Intentionality is the muscle you need to get you to those honest emotions. Fortunately, if you set your standards and goals the right way, you can have the both $100 million in the bank and be at peace with emotions and that serve you well, filling your home with the positive emotions. There are some actions that you can take to move consciously toward reframing your emotional mindset. You will have more success inviting the right kind of emotions into your house if you do the following. Meditate, of course. Okay, meditate, find the balance, identify your triggers, resolve to change the way you think. Okay. This is finally the most important part for the emotion Right. Okay. Meditate. When you slow your brain down, concentrate, and focus on what you want, your brain engages and moves you closer to those goals. When you consciously decide you want to release your anger or fear, you will make room for peace and tranquility. I meditate daily to start my day. I clear out negative thoughts that don't serve me well. I practice gratitude and positivity. I focus on what I need to do for the day, and then I engage in my priorities. Above all else, I move forward, not backward. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Find the balance. If all you do is work, even though you may love it, you have no time for rest and recovery. Any setbacks or negative emotions can pile up and produce an oversized and clutter I talked about. Dedicate time to activate and people that bring your life back into balance. For me, that might be a round of golf or taking my dogs for a walk. Both are relaxing breaks I need to restore my emotional health. Create new habits, set new goals, practice much needed self-care routine. Identify your triggers. This goes back to the intentionality. Figure out, okay, figure out what makes you angry and frustrates you. Can't stand it when people run late for appointments or cancel at the last minute. Is there a particular annoying coworkers who makes your skin crawl? Do policies, taxes, global warming, or child neglect light a fire under you? Take a time to put your triggers into perspective. Some things you can change and control. Yeah, that's true. And some things you can't. Major triggers or though each a lie. Resolve to change the way you think. Identify the negative emotion you like to rid yourself of a positive emotion you like to enjoy more and make conscious effort to move in that direction. As you do, consider what Proverbs 27 verses 7 says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So is he. Yeah. When you're align your heart and your mind, you will be ready to put the power of one more emotion to work for you. Okay. 아이고, 죄송해요.